Why some are born great, some achieve greatness, and some have greatness thrust upon them. Hey guys, it's Mr. Modderman coming to you from my house, my bedroom actually, and I want to do a little review of 12th Night, and I want to just give you guys an opportunity to kind of remember where we were. It was a week ago that we were sword fighting in my classroom, and remember Ben hit my projector and probably broke it. We'll see when we get back to school whether it's working or not. But we were almost done with Act 3, and then the bell rang. So what I want to do is kind of give you guys an overview of where we are in the play and give you some push to go forward into Act 4 and Act 5. First of all, I know some of you are thinking, well, that'd be great, but I don't have my book. I wasn't able to go into school. I wasn't able to get my book, so what am I supposed to do? The great thing about that is that Shakespeare is not copyright protected. So you can access it from the internet, the entire play. I mean, the simplest way is just to Google 12th Night PDF, and then it'll show up. I'll show you here real quick. I actually didn't have my copy, so what I did is I pulled it up on my iPad, and I have 12th Night right here. You can see, maybe you can't see, yep, you can kind of see that I have the play here. And the best place to go is, the first thing that comes up is 12th Night entire play, Shakespeare MIT. And you can pull it up, and you can see I have the entire play. There we go. There's a better angle for you guys. The entire play right there. So I'm going to be picking up with where we left off at the end of Act 3. But first, let's review, okay? Remember, we talked about in class that this play, the major plot, is basically a love triangle between Viola, who is also Cesario, her male alias, the Duke, Orsino, the Count, and Olivia. All right? Olivia is falling in love with Cesario, who doesn't exist, but is really Viola. Viola is in love with the Duke, and the Duke is in love with Olivia. So that's our major plot. Act 3 tightens that plot a little bit, but really introduces a couple of subplots. One of the subplots was the trick on Malvolio. Malvolio offended Sir Toby and Maria, and then they were going to get revenge on him by dropping a letter in his way that made him believe that Olivia was in love with him. So that's where we are right now in Act 3, and we went through that. The other subplot is Sir Andrew. Sir Andrew wants to go home. He's there to woo Olivia, but Sir Toby wants him to stay because he's got a lot of money, and he provides some help with his drinking habit, so to speak. So in Act 3, we really talked a lot about subplots. So Malvolio, remember, he was supposed to dress in yellow stockings and smile, and he was supposed to make an approach to Olivia, and he does, and he makes a complete fool of himself. The thing is that Malvolio believes that he's been successful. The other subplot was obviously that Sir Andrew wanted to leave, and Toby and Fabian kept him there because they wanted him to continue paying for their alcohol. And at this point, we don't even know how much he's paying anymore. It's just really about that theme of excess, of going over the top. And then we had the duel between Cesario and Andrew, which turned into a duel between Antonio and Toby. And that's where we left off, is that duel between Toby and Antonio, right? So I'm going to pull it up here a second and kind of show you guys kind of where we were and offer a little bit of explanation. Now, when you have this, you're going to have to scroll a little bit. You're going to have to scroll a little bit on your computer or on your tablet, which is what I'm using. Okay? It doesn't take long to get. The play isn't that long. So I'm going to pick it up at the end of Act 3 where Antonio comes in. Now, if you were listening, we talked about this, all right? Antonio comes in at the end of, it is Act 3, Scene 4, and he comes in during the middle of the duel. He says, "Put up your sword." Right? What offense this young man hath done, I take the fault on me. Right? That's where Antonio comes in. So if you can find that spot, that'd be a good place to pick up. Maybe pause this video, go find that in the play, all right? Or also find it on your tablet or on your phone, right? You can do it on your phone as well, MIT Shakespeare. Antonio says, "Put up your sword. If this young gentleman hath done offense, I take the fault on me. If I offend him, if I for him defy you." Now, Antonio thinks that Cesario is Sebastian. Remember, he left Sebastian in the previous scene and said, "Hey, have a great time, tour Illyria, and then I will see you at the Elephant." Right? I will get a room for us and I'll meet you there. But he also gives Antonio gives Sebastian a great deal of his money. So that sets up a real problem when Antonio shows up here thinking Cesario, who is fighting, right, Sir Andrew, and then later Toby and Antonio fight, but thinks that Cesario is Sebastian. Right? Remember, Sebastian tells us that they look very much alike. They're twins. They look very much alike, even when they were not disguised as Viola is, as Cesario is, as a man. So now they're looking very much alike. So Antonio is confused. He shows up. He says, "I'm going to defend this person." Toby, Andrew, and Fabian have no idea who this guy is. They don't know why he's there. And this is more of that dramatic irony that we talked about in class. We know what's going on, but the characters in the play don't. Toby asks him what he is. Antonio says, "I am one who for his love dares do more than you've heard to him brag to you will," and they duel. Then the officers show up. Why are the officers there? The officers are there because Antonio is wanted in Illyria. Remember, he told Sebastian, right, "I do not without danger walk these streets." Right? Once in a sea fight, I stole a bunch of stuff, and I will pay dearly. Well, the officers recognize him, and they show up to arrest him. Well, he is in trouble. He needs to bail himself out. So he says to Cesario, who he thinks is Sebastian, who he thinks he gave his money to, "I must entreat you some of that money. This comes with seeking you." Cesario has no idea who this guy is and what he's talking about. So she says, "I don't know what you're talking about. I'll give you a little bit of money I have, but I don't have much. I'm poor." And Antonio flips out. He flips out. He says, "You're denying me," basically calls her a Judas, and then the officers take him away. All right? To read Antonio's line, "Will you deny me now? Is it possible that my deserts to you can lack persuasion? Do not tempt my misery, lest that I make me an unsound man, as I upbraid you with kindnesses that I have done for you." And Viola says, remember, Viola is Cesario. Viola has no idea. "I know of none." She doesn't know of any kindnesses, right? "Nor I know you by voice or any feature. I hate ingratitude more in a man than anything, lying, vainness, etc." She's basically saying, I would be gracious if you had done something for me. And she's right. Antonio hasn't done anything for her. Antonio's done something for Sebastian, who's about Illyria, touring Illyria right now. So Antonio is upset. He tries to explain to the officers that he snatched Cesario out of the jaws of death, that he rescued her, and the officers are like, "We don't care. We're just here to arrest you. Come with us." Eventually, Antonio has to go with the officers, and the scene ends. But not before Antonio says this, right? "But oh, how vile and idle proves this god. Thou hast, Sebastian, done good feature shame. In nature there's no blemish, but in the mind. None can be called deformed but the unkind. Virtue is beauty, but the beauteous evil are empty trunks or flourished by the devil." He names Sebastian. He uses Sebastian's name. He calls Cesario Sebastian. We haven't heard that name, right, mentioned in front of Cesario since Act 1. So maybe, if Cesario is paying attention in her distress, she picks up on this and begins to wonder if her brother is actually dead. Maybe her brother is alive. And she says this at the end of the scene, right? She says, "He named Sebastian. I, my brother, know, yet living in my glass, even such as so. In favor was my brother, he went still in fashion, color, ornament, for him I imitate. He dressed kind of like I'm dressed. He looks like me. Is Sebastian alive? Oh, if it prove tempests are kind and salt waters fresh in love. So she basically says, this could be great. Methinks his words do from such passion fly, that he believes himself, so do I. Prove true, imagination, oh, prove true, that I, dear brother, be taken for you. So she thinks that, hey, maybe my brother is alive. So something is, there's a little bit of play in that knot that Shakespeare has been tying throughout this. As you're going to see, though, Act 4 and Act 5, the majority of them are just making that knot more complex. But there's a little bit of play here. A little bit of play. Cesario or Viola might know that her brother actually is alive. Now, I'm going to put something up on Schoology for you guys to go through Act 3 and review it. I know there's been some challenges with quizzes, but I want you to know that I'm going to keep working on it. I'm going to keep putting things out there for you guys to review. All right? And I would like you to read Act 4. Okay? I'd like you to read Act 4. And I know it's challenging. I know that there's Spark Notes out there, but I'm going to do another video, and we're going to go through Act 4. Act 4 is very short, but some really crazy things happen, actually. So Act 4 is really short. Read through it. Try to get a sense of what's going on. Now, remember, we're not concerned about big themes yet. We've talked about the theme of love. We've talked about the theme of excess. We've talked about the theme of deceit. We've talked a little bit about paradoxes. There's going to be some more of that to come once we finish the play. All right? Hey, I hope you guys, this helps a little bit. This is my first time doing it. I'm going to get more comfortable with this over the next couple of weeks. And then I hope you're all really well. I really miss seeing you every day. And this is going to just be a way for us to communicate. And I'll try to mix it up and try some different things. But I just want you to know I am thinking about all of you and praying for you. And I'm wishing you all the best. And I know that this is a trying time for all of us. But maybe this is a way that we can connect, a bit of a distraction for us. All right? So read Act 4. Hopefully this helps. And I will talk to you all very soon.